Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Limitless Speaks. My name is Ife, and I've got two lovely guests with me today. And what's your name?
My name is Karen.
And we've got.
My name is Ade.
Thank you very much. So, our topic for today we'll be talking about is what our mothers did. So, just to celebrate women's, we're gonna be talking about what our mothers did that we didn't like, before, but now we would be implementing or, taking on in for ourselves personally as well. So, I'm just gonna just a quick disclaimer actually. So what we're going to be speaking about is, just based on personal experiences. You might not necessarily agree, with what we said, and that's all right. That's fine. So the question now is, what did your mother do, or any female figure in your life? It could be an auntie, it doesn't necessarily have to be a mother, just someone, a female figure in your life, what they did while you were younger, that you were like, okay, it's giving, I'm not understanding, like, what did they do? And now you would want to implement either in your own life or in the life of your kids when you're younger. But just before we start, I'm just going to read a quick verse, and it is taken from Hebrews 12, verse 11. So, let's open to Hebrews 12, 11. I find it. Right. Hebrews 12:11 says that no discipline is enjoyable while it is happening. It is painful. But afterwards, there will be a peaceful harvest of right living for those who are trained in this way. So, we're going to start off any, experiences in the past that, you want to mention?
I think we can all agree is a rule, at least in my family, that we had was concerning like friends and coming over. So like we had a no sleepover rule in our house. And as a kid, it's like can be very frustrating when you hear all your friends like let's go on a Friday and have a sleepover and like, watch movies and stuff like that. But I think when you get the logic of why our parents did that, I think then you actually understand they actually did it for your own benefit.
So, like, based on that, would you still like implement this rule for your own kids, or would you want to change it up a bit? Maybe sleepover today, not tomorrow, or something like that. What would you do? Would you still be like, no sleepover?
I think I would definitely implement in my own like house for my own kids. Yeah. It wasn't too strict in my own house. Like I'm the youngest of two kids, of three kids. So I think their parenthood got a little bit not so strict as the kids go on. So I did actually go to one or two sleepovers.
Okay.
But I think that was when I was older. So even as a kid, I still wasn't allowed sleepovers.
Yeah. And what about yourself?
In my situation, my mom or my parents took it a step further, and they wouldn't even allow me to go to a friend's party if it was being held in their house. It had to be at a third venue, like maybe a rented place, but if it was in their home, they wouldn't allow me to attend. And growing up, it was very difficult because most birthday parties were in the homes of the celebrant. So people would invite me out. I wouldn't be able to go. And it got to a time that I wasn't being invited to as many parties because they know, Karen won't be able to come because her parents won't allow her to attend. But as I've grown older and understand the logic, I might not implement it in the same way into my children because I think it's still a bit harsh. And I think children, they need that interaction with other children, their age mates.
Yeah.
So I think personally how I would handle that situation is I would try my best to have a conversation with the parents of the child and just to ask some questions, anything that's concerning to me, just to ease any anxiety I would have, and then allow my child or children to attend. But I do understand the logic behind it, and they had good intentions.
Definitely.
It was a bit too strict though.
A bit too strict, but I feel like in a lot of would I say African households, they do tend to implement these rules of no sleepover. For me now, I'm like one of the eldest of like 6 children. So like initially for the big ones, the big children's, we were not allowed like sleepover, like you said. And now thinking back, I understand that it's just because they don't. It's just for our own safety, really. But when it got to like the last three, they were a bit more lenient because I feel like they've probably seen and experienced that, okay, maybe we shouldn't have been like so strict to them, but they would allow them to go out, but like to a safe place where they know it's safe. But yeah, definitely, I agree with that. Sleepover is one thing where they wouldn't let us go, but looking back, we definitely understand it. I'll give one of my one as well. For me, I would say is prayer, and it was using the word when you're praying. Like I mentioned earlier, I've got 5 siblings. In the morning, we do like devotions, and we take turns to pray. So I was like, oh, it's fine. Prayer is okay. I'll just pray, say the way it's been done in the Bible. Thank you for today. Thank you for waking us up, and that's it. But after a while, my mom was like, hold on a minute. You need to use Bible verses when you're praying. I was like, no. I was like, please. Because I don't, the last thing I want to be doing is memorizing or cramming any Bible verse. That I found out difficult. And to be honest, I did not like it at all. And I'm sure my siblings too, they did not like it either. And the thing was, if you didn't pray with the Bible verse, you'd have to repeat it again the next day. So I was like, this is so harsh. Like, how can you be so mean to us? But now looking back, I feel like it's definitely helped my prayer life in the sense that when I'm praying, I use the word of God. And as we all know, as part of the armor of Christ, the Bible is the sword. That's what you're using to fight the devil, literally with. So now having that inbuilt in us as children, I understand why it's very essential to use the Bible or the word to when you're praying. It allows me to understand the word, read the Bible more, and be able to fight the devil effectively, basically. So that was another thing that I did not like, but I'm grateful. Like the verse said, it will bring value to your life eventually. So it's definitely something I will be doing, like for my kids as well, later in the future, is to teach them from a very young age how to pray or using the word of God.
I think I would like to
Yeah.
go on the same tangent as well. Like our parents also instilled us there's a structure on how to pray, and the only way to do it is consistently and
Yeah.
consistently daily.
Yeah.
So also we also had family meetings. You today you will pray, and this is what the topic will be, and it just also give you a bit of confidence.
Yeah.
So the only way you get better at it is to
Doing it
practice.
consistently,
So
yeah.
even though
Yeah.
it's another day of having to do this over and over again, but honestly, you can see the benefit now when you're
Yeah.
adults.
Yeah.
When you go up a bit older, it's actually very beneficial for your prayer life to do that.
Definitely. So now I'm grateful that it did that. But yeah, is there anything else you want to add to that, or something else that that you didn't like? Another one.
Yeah, I think I would also implement that to my children, because something I currently struggle with is memorizing Bible verses. And I didn't really have that growing up. I mean, my parents did instill into me prayer, but they didn't really emphasize on the word and using the word and using it to back your prayer. So I think it's a really good practice.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So that is just you've got any other points that you want to mention?
I would say taking your kids to regularly go to Sunday school was something that it was painful for me because you had to wake up early in those mornings, but it's very beneficial for you to have that environment of other kids your age learning these subjects and actually getting to know the Bible, what it says in scriptures, and applying that to your life, at every stage of your life as a growing child. So I think having them to force us to go to Sunday school was a good decision. So definitely something that I would implement, but not be definitely give like the space for them, for the kids to talk about their feelings about Sunday school. So like how was today's, like what did you learn and stuff like that. My parents didn't really take that approach to it. It was just like, you're going. But I think I would definitely take the approach of, talking to them, how did they feel about it, and what they think about next week and so on.
Yeah, yeah. And even like with all this, I feel like even in the future, when you have your own kids, like you should expect that they would not like what you're doing to them too. I know we are sometimes like we can be, I'm not gonna train my children, the way my parents trained me. They were too harsh. But I feel like eventually you might not be as harsh, but you will still do some things that your kids will not like. But I feel like it's just to maybe teach more to them the reason behind why you're wanting them to do certain things, and not just tell them to do it. Like let them know the reason why, so maybe that way they'll be able to accept whatever teaching or correction they're taking. They'll take it more well. So that is if anything, one thing I would like to maybe do differently when instilling these things to them. So another one point I want to mention is for in my family as well. Like I mentioned, there was this rule of no watching TV until the weekends. So like Monday to Friday, Monday to Thursday, no TV at all. And then the weekend, then you can watch TV. That was another rule that I was like, I don't understand where this is coming from. Like, what is that even supposed to mean? Like, why would you not want to watch TV during the week? But looking back, it definitely helped us to like study better. And now when I see my siblings and where we are right now, I'm like, yeah, that was I might not necessarily do that to my kids and be like, not till weekends. Maybe tweak it a wee bit, but I definitely see why they did that. So just gonna ask a question. Do you think you'd be a fun mom? Would you be a fun mom or a strict mom? Or I mean, doesn't have to be strict, or a mixture. What kind of mom do you think you'd be? Or maybe okay, no, I wouldn't say you wished you had, but what type of mom would you be?
I'm not too sure, to be honest, but I think I would try to be a mixture of both. But just because of my upbringing, I would be leaning more towards the strict side because that's how I was brought up. But yeah, that's just how I envision myself, being more strict, but a bit more lenient. Yep.
Okay. And what about yourself? What do you think?
I would think the same as well, like to be not too strict that, like you're restricting everything they do and like you won't let them to be themselves, but also be enough like fun that they can able to like talk to you, come to you like with any problems that they have, that you can actually have a good conversation with your children. Like that's a very key point of having like keeping a good relationship with your children. Even like as kids and all the way until you grow up, it's important to like have a free flowing conversation with them and having like enough respect for them as well. Is like even if you're a fun mom, you have to respect your parents as well.
I agree. I do feel like there needs to be a balance. Because or would you say if your parents were, or your mom was if she was a very fun person, allowed you to go to sleepovers and everything, do you think you would be the way you are now? Like, do you think your life would have turned out differently, or what would you think? Or would you be like, a wayward child? Oh no.
I don't think I would be wayward per se, but definitely some of the values that I have now, I wouldn't have them.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially since I'm an international student and I don't have any family around me. So it's because of those values that has allowed me to have some form of integrity and not allow me to do certain things. So yeah, I do think that the way they brought me up was good.
It was good. Yeah, that's it. And what about you? Do you think you would have turned out differently if they were very, very fun?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
I think, like Karen said, like the same values that they've instilled in us, in all my siblings, like they would have stayed the same. But if they were very, very fun, I think it might have been a bit different. But I'm not the type of person to, act out, to be honest. Like, I don't think I was a very rebellious child, to be honest.
I think, yeah, that is another factor that does play into things, the personality of the child as well. Yeah, I, personally think you can be a fun mom and still raise up children in the way of the Lord. You don't have to be, very strict. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do, everything. But obviously, what you allow or give permission for them to do should be something that would grow value in them. Like the verse we read earlier. It should be something that would make them, like you said, to be able to express themselves. Because be able to express themselves, and at the same time, just instill like proper value of Christ with them as well. So, is there any other like points or things your mother did that you didn't like?
My mom had this rule. It was like, once you like come in and you go out once, like if you come in one more time, like you can't go out anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that was just to, keep you going out the house anyhow, but it was like...
Sometimes I'll be scared to drink water, to go inside to drink water, because if I go in, you're not coming out again. Yeah, oh yeah, that is definitely... Yeah, what about you? Did that happen to you as well?
No. Actually, I didn't have that type of rule. This is actually my first time hearing of it.
Yeah, sometimes they won't let you come back and go, but just like you said, it does prevent that you just think you can come into the house like whenever you want and go out whenever you want. Yeah. So is there maybe like any would I say anything you'd want to say to maybe your mom about the training she's done? Like, oh, thank you very much. Anything you want to say?
I think for me, like, I really like that she emphasized education in all of my siblings' lives. She's also like very highly educated, and both of my parents. So she put a lot of... She tried to make us love education, not just like, you have to do this, but also made us understand that this is something that would get you further in life, like, quite as well. And she gave us a lot of kind of like freeway of what we wanted to do in our lives. So that's why I like tried to do the best in school as I could.
Yeah. And what about you?
Yeah, it's actually similar
Okay.
with my mom as well. Both of them really emphasized on education.
Yeah.
And my mom was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
So she was always with my sister and I. She would drop us at school every morning. She would sit in the car with us till it was assembly time.
Oh, wow.
So, and the teachers used to get so upset with it. They would say, why are you sitting with your mom for so long and you come to school early? And I'm like, well, she doesn't, like, we are like her life. We were actually her life. And she really dedicated every time that she had, she dedicated it to my sister and I. And I think that's contributed to how we are right now and how we live our lives. Yeah, so I think, I aspire to be like my mom.
And
That's really sweet.
I think sometimes we underestimate, like, I think a lot of us of African, like, of immigrant origin, like the way they came from a whole different country to, like, let's say the UK or like another country in Europe or America, they really gave up everything, like all their friends and family, just to come give us a better life.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I really appreciate from my parents.
And just based off on that, I feel like, all that maybe it is definitely stressful moving to a whole other country and learning how to take care of children with new sets of rules, which is not the same as it was back then. So I feel like that might have made them a bit more, tense, more strict, as to like how they wanting to raise us up. But either way, when I look back, like everything is all worked out for good. Like, it's not made us or made, you into a rebellious child. Like, it's definitely, instilled some values in you. So now that you're older, do you think that are they still a bit or not? Is your mom still does she still do things that you still don't like, but you're like, okay, maybe when I grow up it'll be fine then? Or now you're all grown, or what? Yeah.
I mean, we're all grown up now, but it's still like you still have the respect for your mom, and like there's still things that she'll say I have to do, and like I'll be sure to do it because she's still
Still your mother.
still your mother.
Yeah, yeah. And what about yourself?
I think as my sister and I, we've gotten older, she's gotten a bit more relaxed about some things because she realizes that we're grown now and we're a bit more mature and we can make certain decisions on our own. But she's still there in terms of guidance.
Yeah.
And she's a lot more open about things. Because I don't know whether you experienced that, but my mom didn't talk about certain things when we were growing up, like relationships and whatnot. But now she's more open about those topics.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
really good.
So yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like sometimes when you're bringing up a child, you do have to be more strict. Just to ensure that when they grow up, they don't depart from those values. I'll just read a quick verse just to round things up. So it's from Proverbs 29 verse 15. It says, "To discipline a child produces wisdom, but a mother is disgraced by an undisciplined child." So, we don't want to be disgracing our mothers, so we have to, they have to discipline us. And in the future, hopefully, we are able to discipline our children, obviously with the help of God, because we can't do anything on our own.
Amen.
So, yeah. Any last thing you want to say to end this podcast?
I think we all agree that our moms they did their best.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
there's always still, we all still have our moms, and
Yeah.
we still always have that relationship with them, and hopefully, God willing, that relationship will always grow,
Yeah,
and they will also be there for our kids and help them as well.
yeah. And what about you?
Yeah.
Any last thing?
Yeah, I do agree.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being with us with this podcast, and I hope you have a nice day.